of this live thing, but I am here again this morning to read the daily devotional, and today is August the 19th, and I will be reading from Jesus in Red. I'm here a little early because I got to be at work at 7, so I'm trying to stay committed. So there will be times, I may come on just a little bit, early. But the title of this, today's devotional is Their True Identity. Their True Identity. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, but you seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. I speak what I have seen my father, and you do what you have seen with your father. John 8:37 and 38. Right there he shows you there's a difference. He only comes and speak what his father has given him to speak. But you do what we've seen the Father do. There's a difference. Over the next few verses, Jesus used the words, your Father, 4 times. At first, he didn't tell them who their father was. They assumed that God was their father because they were Abraham's descendants. However, when they did not accept the words that Jesus spoke, they proved themselves to be children of the devil. My Lord, your action is going to show who your father. Millions thought that the world assumed that God is their father and that they are his children. Let me read that again. Millions throughout the world assume that God is their father and that they are his children. We got to know who our father is. And we got to know that we know that we know. You want to make sure that your actions reflects that that's your father. But when they finally see their own sins, suddenly God becomes distant as the number of his wrath against his sins. Your sin is going to show you who your father is. And if you're sinning, you should know who your father is, who you're serving. When the world practices their religion, they assume that they are doing the will of God. When the world practices their religion, they assume that they are doing the will of God, practicing. But the Apostle Paul says differently. Rather that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons and do not to God. I do not want you to have fellowship with demons. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. If they were serving God, they would accept Jesus Christ. There's no in between. There's no other way around it. If you try to come up and try to do it any other way, the Bible says you're a thief, So we have to be very careful that we're not trying to go through the back door, the side door, the window. No, if there's a front door, just enter in. That's the way you have to come. You're coming the right way. Because if you're trying to come any other way, I see motive. I smell bad intentions. So make sure you're not trying to get through God instead of, going through the sun. That's the way you have to come. There's no other way. People's trying all kind of ways now to get in. But when they stand and be judged, when the Father answers the door and he hear those words, depart, you know that you tried to come up the other way. Or you just didn't try to come at all. Period, point blank. I'm going to read that verse again. If they were serving God, they would accept Jesus Christ as their Messiah. He was the litmus, I may pronounce that wrong, forgive me, test of their spirituality. When you accept Jesus Christ as the Messiah, as the Son, as the one that was sent, that proves where you at. what side of the fence you on. It's evidence. And this other little portion of the devotional, it says soul search. May I never be cavalier in my walk with God. May I never be overly familiar with him or take anything for granted. Sometimes we think we know God so well that we just think we know him more than my brother or more than my sister. There's so many layers to knowing God. There's so many ways of knowing him, and we can't get so comfortable that we think that, we have mastered all the ways there is to know him. He comes in many different forms, many different, it's just, there's a never-ending way of knowing God. And then that little prayer that's at the end, it said, Father, give me the wisdom I need to reason with those who don't know you. I'm going to read that again. Father, this is a prayer. Give me the wisdom. We need to ask for his wisdom. He said if you don't have it, ask for it. Because you want that godly wisdom. You can't walk around here with this earthly wisdom and expecting a spiritual result. It doesn't work that way. Father, give me the wisdom I need to reason with those who don't know you. There's a lot of people walking around that don't know the Father. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Christians that are walking around and they don't know him. Why? Because they don't have a relationship with him. Form of godliness. It's the things is winding up. Either we know him or we don't. Either we're trying to know him or we're not trying. We got to get this thing right. But the Lord had me to give to look up the definition, and I'm almost done. The definition of a prodigal. Because that the prodigal son, he wanted all his money where he can just run off and just do what he wanted to do. He kind of lost his identity. He kind of lost, who he was created to be. Like some of us, sometimes we go through things in life and we just act all out of character. We just act just like, that we don't, that we ain't got no earthly spiritual sense. We just running rampant and just doing what we feel like that we're big enough to do. But one day that prodigal son, he came to himself. And it says a prodigal is someone's son or daughter that leaves the family often after a period of time, after a period behaving badly, and then return at a later time. And it also says someone that behaves badly spends money carelessly without thinking about what happened when they have none. That's what a prodigal is. It's just running rapid. It's just doing what you want to do. You acting like you don't have no spiritual sense. You acting just like you don't have a father. You acting just like you haven't had no home training, teaching. You see some kids today and you wonder, well, Lord, who is the parents? Like, is anybody teaching them anything? And so being a prodigal, that's what that represent. You just all sorts. But you have to come to yourself. You have to come to yourself. And the name of that devotion, was true identity. Oftentimes, we lose our identity. And we lose it when we're not serving who we need to be serving. And your fruit. People say, don't judge me. The Bible says I can judge your fruit. I can't judge as an individual, but I can definitely judge them fruits. Now, if it's an apple tree, I ain't got no business seeing pears. If it's a pear, I ain't got no business seeing apples. It's just that cut and dry. It's just that simple. But their true identity in this hour, we need to know who we are. We need to know who we're serving. We need to know that when we are judged, we need to know who we're going to wake up with. We need to know who we are. We need to know who Jesus is. We need to know who God is. And it comes with having that relationship. It comes with having that relationship. Well, that's all I have. I thank God for those that showed up, that hung in there with me until I got through. I apologize if it sounds rushed. But like I said, I got to be at work at 7, so I wanted to get that in before I got there. Let's do some soul searching. Let's do some soul searching. And let's make sure that we know who we belong to, who we're related to. And so that's the most important thing that we need to get out of this. Who we're representing. Whose identity are we reflecting? You know, our natural parents, when we go out and do certain things, what they say. Either they going to say, boy or that girl acting just like they mother or they father, or they saying, well, who in the world's raising them? you know, so a lot of people begin to question, who is their parents? Because they just acting all out of character. So, if we call ourselves Christians, there's a certain way we need to show up. Our identity, our actions should reflect those of Christ. And if not, let's get it right. Let's get it right. That's all he wants us to do is get it right. Because he's our father. But we don't want to be running around talking about, that's my father. Really? Well, your fruits ain't saying that that's your father. So, we may need to check our fruits. So we'll know what tree we're hanging from. So we'll know what tree that we're abiding on. And so until next time, there will be a next time. If my God say the same. But I hope everyone have an amazing day. Be blessed. Speak life. Don't allow no negativity. Don't you be negative. No matter your situation, your circumstance, speak life. Until next time, be blessed. And thank God for everyone that showed up. Everyone that popped in and went back out. I thank God for you. I thank God for those that will tune in later to watch this devotional. The title of it was Their True Identity. Question is, who are you?